It is hard to believe that one man can impact the housing market from lowering taxes, lowering interest rates, to creating more affordable loan programs for many home buyers out there. And who am I talking to? I'm talking of President-elect Donald Trump.
Can now project that former President Donald Trump will win the state of North Carolina.
But how can one person, you're wondering, make all these changes in the housing industry in a short period of time? Can it even be possible? Are his policies going to stand out and be approved by Congress now that he dominates this? And whether you like who is the president or not, these are policies that may affect or benefit thousands of people out there. So housing was one of his key issues during his campaign, as well as Kamala Harris. But I think Donald Trump went pretty deep on talking about what he will be doing in terms of housing for many people, because he's seen prices of homes gone to points that are so unaffordable for so many families out there right after COVID started in 2020. What he really has been talking is we need to build enough affordable homes out there. There are not enough communities being built or programmed to be built down the road for so many first-time home buyers. So this is one of the things he wants to talk. Also, he wants to talk about lowering real estate taxes, so that can be a little bit of relief as a benefit to some of those buyers out there. But also keep in mind that because of the inflation where things have been for the last 4 years, things have been a little bit sticky for some home buyers or people that have the idea to move up to a bigger house. And because they cannot afford, yes, they are making more money on the home they own. Hopefully they bought it before 2020, but they cannot afford maybe to buy the bigger house they've been dreaming of. And inflation, it's a big driving factor here for people to make or not to make the move. So President-elect says he will be probably helping reduce inflation from lower gasoline, paying lower money for your food staples, groceries, produce, and so on. He thinks he can do that, so that way people have a little bit more additional money, income, so that you can spend it maybe on a house, buying a property. Some experts predict that the prices of home have increased by more than 50% since the beginning of the pandemic. That's an outrageous price. So you're telling me that in Montgomery County, a house that it was worth $300,000, 50% of that is now the house is worth $450,000. And I'm a real estate agent here in Montgomery County, Maryland, and I can tell you that is true. In some places, that $450,000 is actually more like a $500,000. So that's more than a 50% increase. I've seen it. I've shown some homes, so I can tell you it is true. Trump is proposing housing policies, and let me just break down what it means. He's saying that he's going to concentrate a lot of his efforts and energy helping veterans homeless. He's pledging to eradicate homeless among all the veterans by the end of his term. But some people say that those programs already exist, like the program from the HUD that has a VASH program that is very exclusive to veterans that are homeless. So is he bringing something new there, or is he going to be changing that department to give a lot of attention to a lot of these people? We don't know. Now, mass deportation of immigrants, and this is something that you've been hearing a lot and a lot and a lot. And I don't mean to say whether he's right or wrong. He's the president-elect, and he was elected to do something that his people wanted him to do. So I don't know how that's going to play around. But here's what I can tell you is that, number one, the claim is that undocumented immigrants are the ones that have been occupying these homes that could have potentially gone to homeless veterans, right? There is no proof in that. I have done extensive research, and then I don't see anything that it says that they have been using hotels in the example of New York. Whether you approve, disapprove that, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just saying to say that in reality, there has really not been a link to say, hey, these brand new construction by Toll Brothers of 1,200 homes they all are going to be occupied by illegal immigrants. I have not seen that. Now, if you have seen that in your community, in your neck of the woods, please drop me a line here. I would like to understand and know that, because I can only report what I can find when I do online research, and I don't know what is being published and what is not. So that is the reality. So there is no evidence on that I can say of that, number one. Now, let's think for a moment deportation. As I said, I don't want to get into politics here. All I can say is I need to talk about the facts from the real estate perspective. Let's talk about now the deportation side of things. And that's a policy he was promoting in his campaign. And I think it's one of the few policies that maybe got him elected. And he will have to make a decision for whatever it is worth. This video is not about politics. I wanted to make it very clear. This is about his policies and real estate, and how can that make the real estate market better or worse? Only time will tell us. But the mass deportations are something that have a lot of people that are very worried, and that will be the shortage of labor people in the construction side of things, and also in the companies that produce some of the materials around here, like lumber and all those things. So if a mass deportation goes in place, a lot of these people will either self-deport themselves. I'm talking the construction workers, that there are some studies that they say that 30 to 40% of the construction workforce in the United States may be illegal. I have no way to prove that with any research from the government, but this is what I found online. So with that in mind, imagine what builders are freaking out probably right now, because it's going to take some time to replace these workers. And let's be honest, there's going to be certain demographics within our country that don't want to go and do those jobs, especially when it is so cold outside, or when it is so hot, or it's raining, or it is humid. So it's going to be sometimes which what it translates is higher cost of construction, number one. So the cost will be driven up by these mass deportations. Two, the builders are not going to be able to deliver homes in a timely manner because they're not going to have enough people. So if you're putting a contract on a brand new construction, maybe say, hey, will be delivered by, let's say, June of next year, then that may not be a feasible thing, and maybe it's going to be more like December of the following year. Can you wait that long? Now, keep in mind that builders have been like a big workforce to adding more inventory to the real estate market in the last 4 years. So if they slow down the number of homes they can deliver, and many homeowners in the United States decide not to move out of their homes and stay in their homes, that can also put a lot of pressure in the inventory, which, again, if prices are driven up by that, that may not be something that the Federal Reserve will feel comfortable reducing interest rates. We'll talk about that in a minute. Another thing that the new administration is thinking is opening federal land for housing construction. They say by just reducing the regulatory cost associated with new construction, they think that the cost of homes can go down by 30%, or reduce the cost of building a home by 30% of the home's cost, because 30% of what a new construction costs nowadays, it has to do with a lot of the federal regulations. Whether that can be done or not, only time will tell us, and what kind of impact that may have down the road. Remember, these regulations also, and it's a check and balances, right? They want to make sure that you are buying a house that is in a safe and stable area, that is not going to had any issues with flooding, all those natural issues that can actually cost you the house. You lose your property, and it has to be total completely. Now, challenges with this policy is that federal land may not be located near jobs or like public transportation. So this is something that if you have a lot of land in a state where there's not a lot of jobs, open up the land. Who's going to move there unless you wanted to continue with the teleworking policy? But as far as I know, they're looking to get rid of that. So we'll see if the opening of this federal land makes any impact on lowering the prices, and if people be willing to move there. Remember, people move where the jobs are, where the schools are, where all these amenities are, not necessarily where it's all empty, there is nothing there. What are they going to do, right? They don't want that. They want jobs, security, transportation, access to good health, and a lot of those things. Interest rates and taxes are something that are part of his big campaign, and the promise that he can lower interest rates. Now, that is his plan, to lower those, and that is only something that the time will tell us if he can do it. As far as I know, Jerome Powell says that they're not too excited about reducing rates into the new year. So what he's telling you is that maybe that is not going to be the case, and with a mass deportation, lower amount of workers, quantity of workers available for construction, let's say with the picking up of your vegetables and fruits. So with a lot of these things, maybe this is not going to work really well. And if inflation goes up, I think that we are going to have an issue with interest rates staying here a little bit longer at a higher level. Now, if we can find a happy medium of a 6%, maybe that's where we need to be, and we just stick with that, and everybody should be happy. Maybe that's where we need to be. So tax policies, they want to focus on low-income housing tax credit, which apparently has a support from both parties. Now, there is also a concern about the potential budget cuts that can have to the public housing and the voucher programs that can also have a negative impact. But that is probably, I think, is going to happen with that. There is also uncertainty with the federal budget. There have been many attempts in the past to cut a lot of the money that is allocated for housing from the Congress. And with now a Congress that is being controlled by a Republican Party, maybe they're going to be able to make those cuts that are necessary. I am pro you going out to work and not actually depend on the government. When you are healthy, I think that is something that it has to be clear. But when you are in need based on a sickness, a disability or something, it's okay for you to go out and ask for help, but not to depend on that at 100% when you are healthy and you can go out to work for whatever it is worth. What are going to be the housing affordability challenges moving forward? Well, the economic factors are going to be a rising interest rates are going to have a big impact, as well as the cost of construction. That is going to be something that we will need to measure in a year from now. We'll see what happens. The support to lowering taxes and give tax credits, it's also something that has a lot of support and potentially can help a little bit with some of these people that wanted to buy their first home. What people are going to be watching is just to look at what the president-elect is going to do with his housing programs, interest rates, and how the budget changes may affect housing. And of course, they want to be making sure that people have still access to affordable housing so that we can continue to move this economy and make this country, as always been, a good and great country. So I hope this information has been helpful. I know that I cannot really unfold everything that I would like to, because I don't want to bore you with this, but let me know in your comments, what do you think about the president-elect challenges that he's going to have, and what do you think he's going to be able to resolve when it comes to housing? And can he even resolve the issues of the housing market right now, or are we just only talking things that are just going to be gone within the air, right? Nothing thin air, nothing substantial. Let me know here in the comments. I would like to know what you think. I am Robert Garcia, and I help you understand the raw market trends to smart moves to easy living tips. Thank you for watching my video. If you found value in this video, give me a thumbs up and share your thoughts and comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more insightful content just like this that I post every week. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.